Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Sawyer playing in the Tier 8 American Premium Light Tank, the pretty brand new T92. Now Sawyer plays on the Russian server and his name, obviously it's somebody who saws wood, but in Russian it's going to be Pilshik, but I'm going to be calling him Sawyer throughout this replay, otherwise you know I'm going to slip up, and I don't know, when I'm speaking Russian I usually try and make a few mistakes here and there. Nevertheless, Sawyer is going to have an incredible round here. No spoilers though. And I just absolutely love commentating on these kind of replays. When I've watched this through, even without the fact that I'm not even using XPM stats here, I knew that Sawyer was a damn good player in this tank already so soon after it's been released. And it's quite rare to find good light tank drivers. Those that are able to, you know, multitask, to figure out the situation around them, to be aware of their surroundings. Obviously, when you've got no armor to rely on, and even very low hit points to fall back on, then every single mistake that you make can be crucial as to whether you're going to take the game down or not. For example, that A43 around that corner has 730 hit points. You're 2 tiers higher, and you're only packing like another 270. It's just absolutely outrageous. There you go. That Tiger 131 has 950, and gosh, it still stings you for a quarter of your hit points. These are the trials and tribulations of a tier 8 light tank, right? The fact that you're just not durable. But of course you have got the view range, you got the camo, you got the mobility, you got to try and make up for it. But I guess a lot of people aren't going to be able to do that in the T92. I didn't strongly recommend this as your first premium tank, for example. Sure, if you're great in your light tanks, my review or preview, whatever you want to be calling it, suggested that this is probably one of the better tier 8 lights, I feel, compared to some of them for pure scouting. But when it comes down to its combat capacity, with only 210mm of penetration on its premium rounds, the T92 just doesn't cut it in the bad matchups, and then you do become a pure scout. And also, the premium rounds on this tank are bloody expensive as well. They cost over 5,000 credits. I think it's 5,600 per shot. However, on the other hand, the standard rounds on this tank are really nice. 175mm of penetration isn't too bad for a tier 7 light. Oh, there we go. That WZ-111. Oh god, Sawyer, Pilshik, you're going to have to do a little bit better this game if you want to take this one down. Hopefully this WZ-132 isn't going to be able to finish him off. Well, of course he's not. Do you think I would feature a replay on this channel where instantly that's going to happen? Oh, come on. Only joking. But later on, it is going to be neck and neck stuff, and I'm not going to tell you if this is going to be a heartbreak or not. Obviously, Pilshik just doesn't need to worry about the fact that he's only got 100 hit points left because he's willing to sacrifice 21 of them in a head-on collision with a KV2 on his own team. But now what Sawyer's going to be doing is realizing, wow, maybe being at the front wasn't such a clever idea. Maybe he was being too aggressive. Maybe he was excited at the fact this was a fantastic matchup, and the fact that he had 3 self-propelled guns on his team, although one of them has been vanquished already. Maybe they would support him and he was trying to get that aggressive vision out. Now, Erlenberg is one of those maps that, well, the meta is that it's a counter-clockwise circle fest here. So the team that spawns at this location makes their way around this part of the map, whereas the team that spawns here makes their way around this part of the map, and then eventually it becomes some kind of stalemate, an east-west stalemate where nobody wants to cross the bridge, and those that do either get into hold-down positions or just get absolutely dominated along the way, and when they do get into those positions, then artillery is going to be giving them a thing or two as well, especially in a matchup like this. Sawyer has hung around at the back of the map for long enough, though, he deems it. And he's going to push straight through here to try and get the finishing shot off on the WZ-132. And now with the enemy's tier 8 light tank taken care of, you can feel a little bit more confident. And that's something that I love to do in my high tier light tanks. I always try and solo out the light tank, or single out even, and then hopefully solo him, the light tank on the enemy team. Because of course, if you can get rid of the vehicle that has the camo rating, that has the view range and has the mobility, you can feel pretty confident running rings around the heavier, slower vehicles. And when you're a top tier tank like this, when you take out the higher tiered vehicles, the ones with the really good view range, then the lower tiered vehicles simply aren't going to be able to spot you. And when you have this vehicle fully pimped out with a full concealment crew, you know, you paint it up with some camouflage, you're using things like cola, all of the buffs, brothers in arms as well. I think this tank has, was it 38 or 39% camo when moving. So that pretty much that if somebody wants to see you at 300 meters, and they're going to need 500 meters view range, right? That's absolutely outrageous. Just under. They'll need just under 500. And so at these kind of distances, where you're pretty much about 300 meters away from the E25, you just feel confident shooting at him. Although, I must highlight as well that your camo rating when you fire must drop down to about between 5 and 10% in this tank. Unlike the E25, for example, if you do set up that old school tier 7 German premium tank destroyer with a camo net, I think it's got something crazy like 25% camo rating when firing, which is just insane. Absolutely ridiculous. One of the reasons why I really hope that tank isn't going to be in the advent calendar, because it's just really not very good for the matchup. So one thing that Sawyer does here very well is he waits for the E25 to crest the ridge and also to go behind a tree, which means that he can fire safely. He's not going to get spotted, he's not going to get splashed by the artillery, and God forbid that the E25 turns around and starts to use that pretty much tier 9 tank destroyer DPM on him. However, he's going to do some beautiful moves here. He's realizing he has to stay 50 meters away from the E25 to avoid the proxy spotting, and now he's going to get in behind him. Wow, beautiful moves there. Right up behind the E25, and while that thing is very nippy and has a pretty darn good traverse speed, look at that, look how that thing turns. Oh my lord. The cockroach couldn't quite get his gun towards Sawyer, and Sawyer shuts him down. But unfortunately, with the ISU 152 killing the KV2 on Sawyer's team, he now finds himself in a 1 versus 6 scenario. Now, 3 of those tanks are self-propelled guns, but 3 are vehicles with turrets and guns and a lot of hit points. And wow, that KV2, he's still full health now, 860, so he's going to have to put a lot of rounds into him if he's going to want to shut him down. 6 rounds, I guess, to be exact, unless Sawyer rolls low. So the ISU 152 clearly killed his artillery towards the south of the map. So I think that's what Sawyer is trying to do right now. He was making his way towards the west to try and spot the ISU 152, but spotted a trundling KV2 out in the open, so put a round into him. Now realizes that he's got to a distance where the KV2 will spot him, and so he is going to no longer shoot at him and instead go for this ISU 152. Wow, talk about taking the game by the horns. Rushes the ISU. ISU misses. Luckily, Sawyer doesn't bump into the ISU there, otherwise he might have taken his remaining 84 hit points in damage just for a tiny little collision. And what he's got to worry about now is you hear the artillery shells slamming around him. Another one lands. Where's the third? Is it going to hit him? Hopefully not. And so there you go, just narrowly missing him. He uses his med kit to remove the stun. That'll improve his rate of fire, and it will allow him to shut down the equal tiered tank destroyer with another shell because of a little bit of a low roll there. Although he would have had to have rolled more than his 50-50 to be able to take him out. Beautiful tactical takedown of the ISU 152. How many penetrating shots was that? Was that the full health? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 900 hit points, then 8. So it was just taken a single hit. Beautiful stuff there, Sawyer. You are putting your team back in this game even, one shot at a time. Okay, with 4 kills now, 2,800 damage, 1,500 spotting. That would be a great game by any means for any tier 8 vehicle, let alone a light tank, which doesn't really have the combat capacity of a medium tank, let alone of a heavy. Or some of those heavies are getting really scary these days, right? Okay, so Sawyer just puts a round into the KV2, locks him in place, and now he's going to make his way over towards the cap circle. There's one person inside the cap. The artillery narrowly misses, and Sawyer has just to forget about this KV2. Okay, so now what's going to be in the cap circle? Well, it's either an artillery or more likely an IKV-90B. So how is Sawyer going to approach killing another tank destroyer? Well, he can't stay still. If he stays still, the artillery are going to get him. And so he is going to go all in once again, flank the IKV-90B, and oh, whoa, that one narrowly misses there from the M12 inside the cap circle. He's just managed to out-traverse the IKV there, that rather mobile tier 7 Swedish tank destroyer, and the M12 narrowly misses a ram on him, which would have been fatal. More artillery shells, landing left, landing right, landing center. He finishes off the IKV and now turns his attention to the M12 as well. 150 damage done. 2 more shells should finish him off. Can he avoid the KV2? Can he avoid the artillery? Looks like he can. He's fired all but one of his remaining APCR shells as he puts his damage total to over 4,000, and he is getting out of there. He doesn't want to mess with that KV2. Still sitting up on that ridgeline is the KV2 going to fire in that pretty much artillery, 152mm near his tank. Doesn't look like it. Wow, as Sawyer got all of the pimped out abilities on this tank, that KV2 stayed there for quite a while. I'm wondering if he's got that gunner perk, designated target, that means that if you're looking at a vehicle and you have your reticle placed upon them, that they keep spotted for extra 2 seconds. But it looks like this KV2, I don't know what he's doing. He was here a minute ago. Has the KV2 disconnected? Has the KV2 given up thinking, oh, my team are easily going to be able to finish off this T92 on the enemy team? And that's certainly not the case, as Sawyer has now changed his 1 versus 6 situation into a 1 versus 2 and 2 self-propelled guns. But now Sawyer is having to fire his heat rounds, having kicked so much butt, and the fact that this vehicle only has 9,000 potential damage to begin with, that he's only got 6 remaining high explosive anti-tank rounds, and he's going to need every single one of those rounds if he wants to take down these vehicles. The GW Panther, 360 hit points, I believe. He's going to need 3 for him. The AMX, maybe he can 2-shot him. Anyway, it's neck and neck. He can't afford any, if many, misses. And there's the GW Panther above him on the ridgeline. Sawyer, make the shots count. First one in on the move, and this vehicle has fantastic dispersion values when moving, so it just does excellently here. He gets stunned, takes 20 damage from the AMX, and the GW Panther misses him, meaning that he's got enough time to aim in the shot. And his medkit, looks like he used his medkit there to heal his crew, but he actually got stunned twice there. Now Sawyer confirms the Radley Walters medal, has a look to the left to see if the AMX is going to be there, and now with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left on the game, it's time to find that tier 6 French self-propelled gun, or to begin the cap. 6,500 combined, 3 remaining shells. Oh, this is getting tense. Is it going to be a heartbreak? Well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, ladies and gentlemen. Sawyer inside the cap circle now. There's the AMX. The AMX doesn't look like he spotted him, but he bounces the shell. You need these 2 shells and they can't roll low. Oh, well, there you go. That about sorts it out. He sets the AMX on fire, killing him with a single shell, and it's a bit of a shame in a way because the final one would have netted him a Faden's medal otherwise for killing the final remaining tank with the final shell in his vehicle. So Sawyer, congratulations to you, man. This was an incredible replay and I just couldn't wait to commentate on it. One of the best T92 games I have seen so far, and there have already been so many good games in this vehicle. So Sawyer nails an ace tanker, unsurprisingly, for this incredible round of World of Tanks. 2,054 base experience points, a Dimitri's medal for killing 3 self-propelled guns, a Radley Walters medal for his 9 kills, or 1 more would have been the pools, a Kolobanov's medal for standing alone against at least 5 opponents, in this case 6, a Scout's medal for the 9 spots that he made, a high caliber in a light tank for 5,351 damage, and a Defender medal for protecting the cap circle against that pesky IKV and the M12. And as this is a premium vehicle, even though Sawyer ended up spending a lot of credits on ammunition because he ran out of the APCR shells, he still scores a cool 125,000 credits profit, which is why this vehicle has just been so refreshing for me to play. As I mentioned during my preview of the tank, it's not just another Soviet medium or heavy tank. We didn't have any high tier American lights. Now how about a tier 8 British premium heavy tank wargaming, or even a tier 8 Czechoslovakian medium tank? It's only at tier 6 that there's a premium vehicle. And I was gonna suggest a tier 8 premium Japanese heavy, but we don't really want that. Unless you make it like an OHO without the derp gun, then I probably wouldn't mind feasting on its hit points. But I digress. Sawyer, spasibo balshoy for uploading this incredible game on the whatreplays.ru website. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I just had to share it with the English speaking community. And hopefully all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down and let me know why. And what do you all think about the T92? Do you think it's a premium tank done right? Or have you seen them ruining your games of World of Tanks in the last few days? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.